Hello and welcome to BereaOnline Live. I'm your host Chad Hembree, and joining me we have the American Legion represented. I'll let you introduce yourselves around, so just reading your names.
I'm Bill Pelly, Unique American Legion in 40 and 8.
I'm Michael Bogey of the American Legion in 40 and 8.
I'm Ronnie Murphy of the American Legion and also the American Legion Riders.
I'm Everett King of the American Legion Post 12 Richmond and the Legion Riders.
All right, it's fantastic to have you here. Rhonda has really been building up having you guys here because she said there's so much information that you have to share and so many different things that you work on and so many things that you're involved in. So we'll get started right off. She's giving me a nice list here of things to kind of talk about, but we can sidetrack anytime you want because I'm sure you got plenty of stories to tell. But first of all, what she has me promoting right now is the Gold Star War Mothers, but we had actually had some advertisements for that too.
The Gold Star mothers are the mothers who had their sons or daughters that was killed during exercises during the war. They have a little plaque with the Gold Star hanging on the window to indicate that the son or daughter had been killed in action. There are also Blue Star mothers indicating that the daughters or son are in the service and the Gold Star was killed in action. We are seeking at this given time for Gold Star mothers. In Madison County, there's 100 some odd in Kentucky. But for Madison County, we only have one, Theodore West. At this point, he'll be recognized November the 11th at 10 o'clock at the courthouse in Richmond. Also, will be 3 ex-POWs that will be also recognized at the Richmond Veterans Day program. But the main thing is November the 10th at 1 o'clock, there's going to be a ceremony at Bluegrass Army Depot. And the bike riders are going to escort X number of Gold Star mothers. And it's going to be a big event because they're going to be recognizing all Gold Star mothers in Kentucky.
Oh wow! So to qualify for this, you had to have been the mother or the relative, whatever, of someone that
was
killed in action.
Right.
So anyone out there that watches or this and knows anyone, they're actually seeking out. So be active. And how would they contact you if
they may contact Mr. Bogey, and Bill Tudor, Dr. Bill Tudor, and our commander, Bill Strong.
And how would the easiest way? Do you have a website, or you have email, or a phone number? Do you want to give out?
Phone numbers are, I think, are probably the easiest
way. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be the easiest way for them to contact us. My phone number is 859-369-5621.
369-5621.
Yes.
All right.
And they can call and leave a message if I'm not there, and I will personally get back to them.
Well, please, this sounds like a very honorable thing. So please, if you know someone or yourself, please contact them.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I wish you lots of luck with that, and keep us informed as you go, and we may even go up and get some live footage when you do the ride.
Years ago, we recognized, back in 1996, we recognized 5 Gold Star mothers. Today, we just have one, as to our knowledge.
Yeah.
And they can call me 986-9070. It's confusing because I got the Richmond post office, but it's a Berea
telephone number. Yeah, you're following that in that hole there where the Windstream service. Yeah. Okay, well that's great. Well, thanks a lot. Next thing we're going to talk about is the Living Memorial Ceremony.
Bill has got that too.
Oh well, I'm just lining you up, Bill. Sorry.
Yeah, he's handling that. And
the Living Memorial will be in Richmond. But the program at the Bluegrass Army Depot is the Never Forgotten.
Okay.
And which is going to be an outstanding program, I understand. Colonel Rogers and Sheila Johnson, they're the ones that are instrumental, and Mike  they're instrumental in setting up the program at Bluegrass Army Depot. But it's an honor to take part in both of them. And I think all veterans need to take part and to attend both. The Richmond at 10 o'clock at the courthouse and the Bluegrass Army Depot. At the courthouse, we're going to have Colonel Livingston. He's the commander of the EKU ROTC. He's going to be our featured speaker.
Okay.
And Don Thompson from Berea is going to sing American Beauty. And Legionnaire Bogey will be our chaplain.
Okay.
And he will be giving the good things about the American Legion.
I'm the chaplain at the post there at this time of the American Legion and the 48.
Oh, okay. So you
Yeah.
serve as chaplain as both.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Well, we will make sure we get all the information for this memorial up November the 10th. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
And we'll make sure we get the location, times, all that stuff on there so that we can help promote it.
Bluegrass Army Depot is going to be at the flag. It used to be in front of the commander's building.
It's
The
S2
main-
building, S2
That's
is
the main
for
flag
that.
on the post. All you have to do is come in,
Yeah.
show your driver's license, and then they'll park you, and they're trying to get all the American Legion, all the VFW, all the VA sitting together.
Okay.
So,
Well, we got 3 more things on this list, and we'll get the business over with. And I got some questions for you.
All right.
Next one is the Veterans Memorial on Veterans Day, November the 11th. I guess the very next day.
And that's
That's-
what he went over there.
Okay, and that's the
No, that's the one on the 10th.
that's the 10th.
that's the
Yeah,
10th, and then the
and-
next one is on the very next day.
Yeah,
Okay.
and this is the one we'll have at the courthouse at 10
So the
o'clock.
courthouse is
Madison County Courthouse.
is
11th.
the 11th. Okay.
Yeah, the 11th,
I want to make sure I get this clear on
which
on
is
the
Veterans
website.
Day.
Mhm. There it is.
Yeah.
Bluegrass is having yours on the 10th because no work on the 11th
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's a holiday.
holiday.
Okay, so this is just a day early as
Right.
well.
Right.
Okay. That makes more sense to me now. All right. We'll go on then to the Legion Riders. Well, first of all, just give us a brief explanation. What are the Legion Riders?
Well, it's a group of really American Legion members. You have to be an American Legion member before you can be an American Legion rider. The way I got into it was Everett and Bill approached me probably 2 years ago, and I never thought much about it. And then I joined up in Estill County, and because there wasn't none here. And
Okay.
and then I found out about it. They came to me again, and I just transferred down here. And it's a group of men that ride motorcycles, and we also do work for the American Legion.
So you are a Legion member, but
Yes.
then it's kind of like the Shrine Club and the Masons, maybe.
Yeah,
So you have to be one to be
Yeah,
the
we
other.
we
Yeah.
work for both of them.
Okay.
You know, we have to make our own way, which is good. We do a lot of work for charity. That's really our main goal.
Yeah, it looks like you support several of the smaller organizations within the Legion too, like the VFW and the POWMIA and the different causes like that. Is there one that you all lean toward more than the other, or is it
Well, right
kind
now,
of picked up, as your rally?
right now we're trying to. We didn't get started till late this year, so we haven't been able to plan anything for this year except one, and it's kind of going to be for us and the American Legion. If you want me to tell you.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
What we're doing next, really, actually, we're going to participate in all these things that they were talking about a while ago. But we're planning on November the 6th. I used to work at Ace Hardware, and I went to sell them some advertisement over our internet. We got our what do you call it? Website. I'm sorry. And I did sell them, and she asked us if we would want to have our grills and cook some hot dogs and stuff there and hamburgers and make some money for us and the Legion. And we said, Yeah, we do it. So that's gonna be our next project.
You talking
What
here in
we'll do is-
Berea?
No, it's
Or
in Richmond.
Okay,
Richmond. Ace Hardware in Richmond.
Yeah, okay.
What they're doing, they're having a big day. It's case knife. It's for a case knife.
Oh, okay. So
And
they're gonna have.
there'll be people
like
there
going
from
on.
all over, actually, the United States come there. And, because we talked to her and she said there was people coming from Missouri, coming from just different states, you know. And it's got to be a big thing. Ace Hardware is a platinum case knife dealer. And we kind of got to thinking, me and Everett, and Everett's a vice commander, and then Bill, Jesse, he's our commander. And so we all kind of got together and figured it'd be a good way to make some money, you know, for us. And we have to have a
day
little
is it?
money to get started. See, we're just getting started.
What day is it you're gonna be doing?
It's in November the 6th.
November
It'll be from
6th.
8 o'clock until 3 or 4.
November 6th.
Yeah, it's a big day there. It's going to be a big day, and everybody should come.
Well, I'm gonna
It's
come and
nice.
get a hot dog. no
Yeah.
matter what.
Yeah, we're gonna have.
I'm
a
anywhere
big
there's
day.
food.
Everett might have some more stuff to say about it if he wants to say something about it.
Well, basically what we're trying to do is, we've only been in existence for about 3 months. We've grown to 12 members so far, and we're actively seeking members, trying to build up the amount of people we have. And what we do is we do poker runs and charity runs for different organizations throughout our community. Not only do we help support the veterans, but in the future, once we get established and stuff, we hope to do runs for local charities to help out and give back to our community.
So if you are a veteran, first seek out being in the American Legion. And
Yes.
then this is something you can belong to as well.
Yes.
Yeah, we'd love to have some more members. The more the merrier,
So
better.
any veterans out there, I know there's lots of veterans out there that aren't belonging to the Legion. I don't know if they think their life's too busy or what. I know we get so busy, think we can't belong to something else, but it's a very noble organization. I encourage you to be involved. I was reading a statistic that overall civic organizations across the country are just falling in numbers, and it has to do with the mindset. What really started the civic stuff was the World War II veterans when they came back. That was the big boom of the Lions Club and the Kiwanis and the Rotary and all those types of things. Well, people were uber involved in everything. You know, they wanted to help and do things, and now it's a different trend. People are staying in their homes more and using their internet, and they're not getting out and being social, and that had been a real problem. And across the board, you're seeing all these organizations losing members. So I'm sure that it affects the American Legion the same way. I mean, you got to be a veteran, so you're already a narrower group than just inviting anybody. And I'm sure that you have lots of people out there that you're not getting access to.
I'd like to make a comment. You're talking about age. World War II veterans are passing away left and right.
Yes.
They're up in the 80s and 90s. And so we have to have young people coming out of Vietnam, Korea, and so forth in order to carry on our obligations and responsibilities of the American Legion and other organizations.
Well, all your World War II veterans are in their 80s. Your Korean veterans are in their 70s. Your Vietnam veterans are in their 60s.
Right.
So we begin to get to be an older group than what we started out. So we need the Iraqi and the Afghan veterans to come to the post and sign up. Our meetings at the American Legion is on the third Tuesday of every month at 6 o'clock, and we'd be more than glad to have them. We would like to grow a whole lot more than what we are. Our commander is Bill Strong, and right now we've got 140 members in the post, which is post 12. It was a 12 post that was in the state, because all the states start out with the number one post is in Frankfurt. Is that right, Bill?
Right.
And they go on down, and we were initiated as a 12 post. Our post was named for Jesse M. Dykes, which was, he was killed in the Argonne Forest in World War I. And the American Legion started out in World War I. That's where it's got its creation. There was a group of officers got together to figure out how they could boost the morale of the soldiers, and and then they come up with the American Legion. The guy that was in charge of it was Theodore Roosevelt. And from there they went on, they had the Paris Caucus, and for 1,000 officers and enlisted men came together, and they formed a temporary constitution, which all goes back to Americanism. It's all set up just like the Constitution of the United States. And from there they went to become the organization they are today. They're 3 million strong. There's 14,000 posts worldwide. And we're trying to grow and get bigger. In 19 and 20, here's some of the facts about the American Legion. In 1920, they were instrumental in forming the Veterans Bureau, which later becomes the Department of Veteran Affairs. So we try to do a whole lot for the veterans. You know, that's our main concern. This was the main concern of putting the American Legion together, was for the veterans. Because in post, you'll find people that was in the wars that can talk more to you about their experience as well as your experience. You can talk with them and they know what you're talking about. We have a boy state, we have girl states, we have an oratorial contest. What else? We support youth athletics, which is baseball, football, and we do numerous things within the community. And it's a free, you know, we don't get nothing for that. What we make on donations go back into the community. Would you like to say something, Lee?
I'd like to say the American Legion was instrumental in our education at the end of World War II. They got GI Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
And I would say 80% of all the veterans that had gone through college graduated.
Wow.
Yes,
That's
sir.
a high
You'll
number.
meet a whole lot of veterans that graduated on the GI Bill after World War II. I know several of them in Richmond that did.
I got mine, BS, MA, for $25.
That's great. That is great.
I'd like to say, please, for all the veterans, don't do like I did. Don't wait 45 years before you join the American Legion. You know, one of these days, we're going to try to build up the American Legion Riders to be like the American Legion. You know, all the stuff they've done. And then, you know, it'd be an honor for me to, if I live that long, to be able to say what Mike and Bill has said about the American Legion, what they have done. I mean, it's just tremendous. They just do a lot of stuff for the community and for the veterans.
Yeah, it's a non-profit organization. We don't, anything we do within it, we don't get no money out of it. We try to put it all back in the community.
Okay. Now, all right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more information from the American Legion. All right, welcome back. We're still with the American Legion, and we've had some good conversation while we were getting ready for our next session, and I want to make sure we talk about that. The first thing was you were going to give a little bit of more history on the Legion there and some presidents that have belonged to it.
Yes, there's been, I think, about 6 or 7 presidents that belong to this Legion. There's been, Harry Truman, Dwight Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, Lyndon Johnson, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, the 2 Bushes, George H. and George W. I've all been members of the American Legion, along with General Douglas MacArthur.
Okay.
And we've had a whole lot of, some of our state governors have been American
Bill, you named
Legion.
off some of those.
It was Ford and Julian Carroll, Ned Breathitt. They all belong to the American Legion.
And talking about the governments, that brings us over to Boy State and Girl State. And I'll let you explain that organization a little bit, what happens there.
Well, at Boy State, we go to the schools and try to get juniors. We usually send 2 to 4 people, if we can get them, juniors, to go to Wendell Ford Complex. And there they participate on the state level government. That starts from the precinct all the way up to the stateship, the governor. Then after that, at the end of that, they picked two of the boys or girls to either go to boys. They could either go to boys nation or girls nation. They work on the national level, and that way they take up the federal side of the government. And last year we had two boys to participate, and Bill could tell you. Do you remember the names, Bill?
Not exactly.
Yeah.
That's
But
all right.
one, he was elected as a senator,
Right. And
and the second person, he was he was talented, and he was played the guitar.
he won the music award.
That's good.
But
Yeah.
it's a great achievement. It's good for the resume when they graduate to place, and they usually go to college someplace. And it's a wonderful experience. Like the boy told me, I've learned more that 1 week than I did the entire school year. And
Not to be plugging no politician, but Tiffany Nash, she went to Girl State.
Oh, okay.
All right. I think she's running for state representative.
That's fine. You can still brag on what she did. she went to Girls
She
State.
went to
Nice
Girl
lady,
State, and
in
she's
Oklahoma.
in Oklahoma, and she's
Oh, wow.
a pretty good orator. We also have an oracle contest, which we have a young girl that will be representing our post this year in the oratorial contest, which was held on the local, which is on post level, and then it goes to the district, and from the district they go to the state, and if they picked at the state, they go to the nation. And Bill can tell you more about what they earn as they go on up through there.
Well, and tell what it is first. What is it? What are they giving the speech on?
It's a constitution,
Okay.
Yeah.
and it has to be 8 minutes. And then they selected a supplement, which they don't know, pertaining to the Constitution. And they got to talk at least 5 minutes on what they selected subject. In the national, when they go to Indianapolis and take part, they're qualified for $18,000 scholarship to go to any college and don't have to be paid back.
Oh, wow.
That's the main thing, and I think that the little girl that we have right today in Madison County, Hannah Turpin, can get the job done.
That's great.
She's a nice little girl. She went with us to the district this year just so she could observe how these other girls are presenting their presentation. And she seemed to be a smart little young lady.
And we also introduced her to various peoples, so she won't go in green, but she'll understand what it's all about. And like I said, she's attending Model High School right now.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I wish her the best of luck, and we'll keep the information on that on
All right.
Richmond Connected and BereaOnline as well. I want to go back to my riders here, to Ronnie and Everett. We were talking earlier about the Patriot Guard, and only one time have I participated in that, and of course I don't belong to it, but that was when something was happening here in Berea at a funeral. But explain what the Patriot Guard does.
Well, a Patriot Guard, anybody can belong to the Patriot Guard. You don't have to be a veteran, but you get online, and Everett knows how to do that because he got mine for me. What we do is we'll escort the body of a fallen veteran in the state or anywhere in the United States if we can go, from the airport to wherever he goes. If he goes to the funeral home, if he goes to the church, when they have the funeral, we'll all be there. And about every 20 foot apart around the whole funeral home, there's a person with a flag standing there, and it's a humbling experience. You know, it really is to do that. I know somebody just told me they had done it a while ago. That was with you. You done it?
It was
Yeah,
at
okay.
the
It's just,
Berea Baptist Church
uh,
here.
I don't know whether you want me to tell the reason we do that or not.
Well, go ahead. Yeah,
Okay,
you
the
can tell.
reason we do that is there's a group of people that protest the veterans getting killed. I don't know their reason for doing that because, you know, it's just a terrible thing for anybody to do that to me.
Well, it goes on and on. One of the groups, their reasoning
Yeah.
is that God is punishing
I knew the
America.
reason. I don't know if you
Yeah,
want to
well,
say
you
it
can
or
say it.
Yeah,
because
okay, yeah.
we're not here to debate
Yeah,
it politically. I mean,
yeah.
obviously, you're
Yeah.
veterans. I know what
Yeah.
side you stand on.
I knew that, but I didn't want to say it. But Everett can tell you some more about the Patriot Guard too, because he.
Basically, what we do is, just like he was saying, you know, we escort the body, we stand at post. We make sure that the family has the right to bury their family with dignity and honor, because they deserve the honor. I mean, they have paid the ultimate price for our freedom and for freedom around the world. And I believe that, you know, more people needs to get involved in that.
Well, I can tell you, unquestionably, we do support the Patriot Guard and the work that it does. And there's no wavering on what side we stand on either. So I'm glad that you do it. It is noble work.
I don't know if you remember or not. You probably do. The veteran, his last name was Hunter from Winchester. Well, that was the first one I'd been on, and I can't hardly explain how good it was. I mean, it was just great. I mean, when we left the funeral home with him going to the cemetery from Winchester on Route 60 all the way to Lexington, there was people waving flags, and we were on our motorcycles behind that. Plus, the most fascinating thing that I remember about all of it was where they done it. But when we went, the fire department there had their ladder trucks. So I'm a retired firefighter,
Okay.
and they had their ladder trucks like this across the road, and they had that big flag, which is huge, hanging down, and we all went under that. That was the most, to me, that really, I mean, I felt good. You know, people were saying, thank you to us, you know, doing that. And, you know, it's just beyond words to explain. It's something, you know, once you become a veteran, there's just something about you that makes you patriotic. I don't know what it is. It's in him. That's just the way it is. I mean, I can't explain it.
It's just, I mean, it's a humbling experience
That's right.
to, you know, see, you know, the price that people pay.
Sure.
Well, we're very grateful that you do, because we
Right.
sure wouldn't have what we have if
I'm glad I'm
wasn't.
here, you know.
The price of freedom don't come cheap.
No, sir.
It's always paid in blood. And
That's
you
right.
can go back from the Revolutionary War all the way down to the Afghani War.
Right.
All this is paid in blood. All this freedom that we have now, we have earned, we have bought. It is bought by the blood of the young folks of the land. And it's a very humbling
That's right.
experience. You know, it's the way the Vietnam veteran was treated. I can get into that
Yes.
a whole lot, but I do not want to talk about it
No.
because it's something that was the way it was.
Well, don't
See,
you
we
think
were
that-
raised. Let me kind of elaborate on it. We were raised by parents that went through the Depression and then World War II. So we were patriotic. We were
Yeah.
raised patriotic. And we were raised with God and country, is what I always like to say.
It's good.
Do you feel that since 9/11, though, that even the Vietnam veterans are starting to get more recognition? People have kind of went back to a more patriotic way of thinking about things, or am I wrong? Is that
No, you're right. You're right at the beginning. At the beginning, you used to go down through here and see a whole lot of flags are waving. But as farther as 9/11 gets down the pike, the less it becomes in the news and the less people forget. They forget from time to time. I mean, as long as you live in the good life like we live here, and we do live a good life, you know, people say we don't, but we do.
That's right.
I mean, you can drive down to any corner and there's a McDonald's down there and you get a hamburger anytime you want it. You can go any place in America, any time of the day, and don't have to ask nobody. And a whole lot of people don't have that freedom. We have a whole lot to be thankful for here in this country. And sometimes I don't think the American people takes it as that.
That's
Well,
right.
it's easy to take things for granted when,
That's what I believe
when
they
you
do.
don't have to address it.
Because that's my opinion, you know, there's a lot of people might disagree with me, which is all right. I've been disagreed with before.
Mike speaking brought back some memories to me. I participated in the Berlin airlift, and 2 weeks ago we were in Mobile, Alabama, and there was 144 of us participants, Americans, that flyers, pilots, and air control communicators, radar technicians, and so forth participated, and there was 12 Germans that came from Berlin to thank us for their freedom, thank us for their food that we had given them, to keep the 2.2 million Berliners from the Russian communist government. They think highly of their freedom, a lot more than we do over here.
Yes.
We take it for granted. Over there, they take it for reality. And they try to protect us by keeping us informed what's going on at Tempelhof and Gettau. And we had 31 veterans, Americans, that was killed. And we honored every one of them throughout the United States. The BAVA was the Berlin Veterans Association, and the German Luftwaffe Danke Society also recognized by placing wreaths at each gravesite. 31 of them.
That's great. And you were down in Mobile, you said?
Yeah, this year. Yes, we're going to Fort Worth, Texas next year.
Now, how many of your old brothers in arms did you see down there?
144, but there's about 500. But we're all up in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, too old.
So we're a dying organization.
Well, when you're based on a specific event, it's going to happen eventually,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. You see, you get, regardless of who you are, you'll get old if you live long enough. That's what they always say.
Halverson, he participates. He's the pilot that dropped candy down to the children, and he's always active in promoting and showing the freedom of the chocolate bar and the chewing gum.
Oh, that's great. What were you going to say, Ron?
I was gonna say, you said this was gonna be aired by veterans overseas and different places.
Yeah.
I know we haven't said anything about them, but I just wanna tell them that I appreciate everything that they're doing.
Yeah.
And that also that the American Legion and the American Legion Riders and all the branches of these things that we said are gonna try their best to do whatever we can for them, if you can, because they're over there right now, just like Mike said, and some of them have paid with it already, their blood, so that we can be free over here. And I don't know if I just really appreciate that, because it's hard for me to say.
Yeah, I understand.
It's just-
No, it's very much.
People don't understand. It's like Mike said, people take this living in the United States here for granted of what good things we got here.
Well, I do appreciate you all being on the show, and I want to go ahead and say you have an open invitation. Anytime you've got anything going on, please come back, talk to us. We'll get you on here. The Riders, the Legion. If you want to even throw something up quick in promotion, just come by and talk to us. We'll support you any way that we can.
I'd like to end this with a,
Before you
go ahead.
Before you do, I also like to let people know that the American Legion Post 12, we have a website that we update on a regular basis. It's www.americanlegionpost12.org. Veterans can print out applications there. They can see what our schedules are and what we're doing. And we invite the public to go by. We also have sponsor and booster programs where individuals and businesses can make a donation. Businesses of $75, that's tax deductible, and we post the businesses on our website. We get hits from all over the world. people that go online and look at our website, and then they get the recognition as being part of the businesses in our community that support us.
Fantastic. All right. What are you going to say?
Don't forget the $25.
All right.
I'm going to have you back on here later because we got to
Yeah.
talk about 40 and 8 later
Okay.
on another session. But you go ahead and give us.
I'd like to close this out with an old Irish verse. You know, being I'm the chaplain of the post, I think this is appropriate to close the program out with. It says, "May the road rise up to meet you. May the winds always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rain fall soft upon the fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Amen."
Amen. Thanks for joining us. This has been another edition of BereaOnline Live. We'll see you in a week.